Glad to have you with us today. Today we're going to talk about, hate to say it, I'm back on the iPhone train. And before we get to that, I really appreciate if you like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel so much. I appreciate your support. But now going back to the topic of hand, I moved back to the iPhone, specifically the 16 Pro Max, what I previously had. I didn't get the 17 Pro, and more on that on another video. But the main point is, why did I move back to the 16 Pro from this device, the Z Fold 7, right? Now, here's the thing I want to say first. The Z Fold 7 is a spectacular device. I like One UI from Samsung. It's an amazing device. And you know, now they start offering 7 years of support. They didn't used to do that, right? But we all know that Apple device pretty much almost lasts forever. They update almost to the wheels fall off. Your device gets so much retaining. And hopefully Apple doesn't change that. But anyway, the reason why I moved back to iPhone is because I'm too deep in the ecosystem. I had this phone almost 3 months. I got it at launch. And let me tell you something. You know, I realized that if you have more than 3 devices, Apple devices, you're really deep in the ecosystem. And it's just hard to transition like that. The phone, for example. I had a lot of integrations with the phone. You know, when I'm copying stuff over, moving stuff between devices and stuff. The copy and paste feature works seamlessly on any device. I could copy here and put it on my Mac Studio. It was amazing. But what really pushed me to move back was the latest updates, right? I'll call it the 26 updates, right? Version 26, right? You know, that's your iPad 26, your iOS 26, and your Mac OS 26, right? And I gotta tell you folks, the integration is so wonderful. They improve the integration from the previous generation, right? And my tech workflow is actually much better now. Matter of fact, because when I was on Android and I had an Android device, I had to create workaround to for the integration because I had so many Apple devices. For example, I had to copy the Google Drive and copy to the iCloud Drive and let it sync. It was just too much stuff. Then for the Note app, right? I don't really use Samsung Note. I use Apple Notes heavily. I love Apple Notes, right? I had to create a web app in order, you know, you can create a web app, and what it does is it creates a web app shortcut on your phone, and it's still not as good because it's kind of laggy at best. And even though making note, it was just a pain in the butt. So I just use too many Apple devices. I have too many. My tech workflow is too integrated with Apple, so I end up going back to the iPhone. And I'm so happy. But you know what? Like I said, they solidified me that the iPhone is pretty much it for me unless something else comes along. Because I had the Z Fold 5, I had Z Fold 6, and Z Fold 7. I had 3 generations of foldables on Android, and they still didn't cut the mustard. I ended up going back to the iPhone each and every time. So again, maybe you're in that situation with me. If you have more than 3 Apple devices, you're pretty much integrated. And when you bring something in, again, I also bought the Galaxy Tab, right? I hardly used that thing, right? I hardly used it. It's just, it is what it is. I use my iPad more compared to that because it was just a better experience for me. And that could be the argument between Samsung and Apple and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just telling you my experience. The thing is that I have the AirPod Pro Max, right? I have the AirPods itself, right? I have the MacBook Pro. I have the iPad Mini. The iPad. I used to have 2 iPad Pro. I gave one to my grandma. I got a new one with cellular. I have the Watch Ultra, 2. I didn't get the 3. The 2 is just fine for me. It's just don't make any sense. Too many devices like that, and trying to workflow with something that is not an Apple device, it was really hard for me. I like some of the features. For example, if I'm answering phone calls or on a conference call, right? I don't need my phone in my pocket. I could just be anywhere in the house with any Apple device and I can answer a call. That's what I really love. Matter of fact, with this update, you can actually dial number now. There's a number pad. So you can actually dial the number now and then you can make calls and stuff, regardless of FaceTime or not. And, that kind of stuff is just amazing. Now I can walk in the house with just my AirPod Max. It doesn't matter what room I am because they all have long-range Bluetooth connection. They're all connected to Wi-Fi. And If a call come through, I just answer with Siri, talk the call, answer the call. It'll tell me. It's just amazing to me. And then with your let's say with your watch ultra, right, with cellular, right, and you could just let's say you forget your iPhone at home, you can leave it at home and still take calls and do the automation through shortcut. And shortcuts is phenomenal. I love shortcuts. What this stuff right there, what I'm talking about. See, I have a tech workflow that was created because of the Apple ecosystem. It may be different from you, but tell me what you guys think, guys. Tell me in the comments below. Are you too deep in the Apple ecosystem that it's hard to bring in an unknown device with a different operating system to interrupt your workflow? Or is it that you have less than 3 and you're fine by testing out new things? You have the fluidity to switch between ecosystem. I would love to know what y'all think. But for me, it's back to Apple, baby, and it's good to be back.